As someone who's been reading One Piece for well over 10 years now, if there's one thing I can say about this community is that it's extremely polarizing for many different reasons. Everyone's got their own takes, everyone's got their own biases, what direction they think the story should go, so on and so forth. At the end of the day,
it's not about what you think, it's not about reading comprehension, it's not about the story, it's about agenda.
And when it comes to agendas, one that is always under scrutiny is the Marines and the Admirals. And listen, if you hate the Marines, I genuinely do not care. It really doesn't matter to me. But let me be clear, if you say anything bad specifically about Fujitora, me and you got problems. I don't care where you live, I'm gonna pull up, knock on your front door, and you and I are gonna have an extremely serious conversation. There's no way you can look at the actions this man has done and say anything that isn't positive. You've read the title and you see the thumbnail. Yes, Fujitora is the best Admiral and Marine in One Piece, period. And I know some of y'all are about to say, well, he's cool, but he's not better than Garp.
Shut your lame ass up, man.
Yes, he is. By a country mile. Get out of my kitchen and let me cook. Oda first introduces us to Fujitora in Dressrosa, and out of the gate, this man's presence is instantly felt by his initial introduction in the story and his formal reveal as an admiral of the Navy. In chapter 701, when the Straw Hats first see him on Dressrosa, he's getting played by a bunch of cheaters taking advantage of his blindness while gambling. Luffy, being a straightforward and honest guy, calls out the cheaters and lets the blind man know that he's been winning the whole time. In response, Fujitora thanks Luffy for his honesty and kindness, and then immediately slams the cheaters for their dishonesty and trying to hurt the man who helped him. When Fujitora is formally introduced as a Navy Admiral with his title card in 705, he is making orders on supplies that will be needed for capturing pirates, but during that dialogue, he emphasizes one thing in particular: the safety of the citizens of Dressrosa. To quote the man himself, "Call for extra medics. We don't want people getting hurt. I want a head count of the people in the stands, the population of the town, and the kingdom. The number we need to keep in mind ain't the enemy forces, it's the number of lives we ought to protect, no?" End quote. Oda is being pretty direct here. This new character he's crafted is someone who is swift to take out corruption and root out deceit, but prioritizes the safety and care of the innocent. Like, come on guys, this is textbook good guy stuff here. Like, again, I don't know how you can look at this man and not like him. So many people criticize the Marines for being a corrupt system working under the world government, and that's 100% fine. It's not perfect by any means, but sorry champ, that logic does not stick when talking about Fujitora. This is mainly highlighted with pretty much every interaction Fujitora has with Doflamingo, and Dofi needs no introduction, one of the evilest characters in One Piece period. And on Greenbit against Law, Dofi is just running his mouth because he thinks him and his operation is basically untouchable, and honestly, he's kind of got valid reasons for thinking so, all things considered, since not only is he supplying Kaido with smile fruits to make the Beast Pirate stronger, and therefore have a powerful Yonko backing him, but when it's revealed that the news report about him stepping down from the Warlords is fake, just so he can outsmart Law, later on in the arc, we find out that the order to pull that off came from somebody higher than the Gurusei. Let me repeat myself. Someone higher than the Gurusei gave the order to assist Doflamingo. At the time, we had no idea who this was referring to, but now we know that the only person who stands above these 5 bums is Imu. So somehow, in some way, Doflamingo has some relevant connection to Imu that the immortal tyrant was willing to go out of their way to help him. Absolutely wild. So obviously he's gonna flex that he has that level of influence, and Fujitora immediately clocks it and calls out Dofi for his activities that go beyond what a warlord is capable of doing under the law. And as far as Dofi is concerned, Fujitora is just supposed to be a mindless drone who does the will of the Navy and the world government. He's simply another tool for him to exploit to his advantage. But nah, Big Fuji does not play that game. Instead, my goat goes directly to Dofi's face and tells him that he's here on the island to minimize the suffering of the people of Dressrosa, and that he'll stop Luffy if he goes on a rampage that threatens innocent people while he's trying to take out Dofi in the process. And immediately after he takes out Luffy, he's coming for him next. Not only that, but he's going to tear down the entirety of the corrupt warlord system that he and Crocodile used to gain power.
Somebody like that needs to die. I guarantee, there's really no reason for him to be alive. We lost prominent niggas on Earth that served a purpose that had, so this nigga could be on Earth trolling stream daily. Come on, my nigga, your life is worthless.
So then the rest of Dressrosa plays out. Dofi crashes out with the birdcage, the Straw Hats and the future members of the Grand Fleet are all fighting to take out Dofi and his subordinates, but what does Fujitora do? He sits back and watches everything go down. He prioritizes keeping the citizens safe and betting everything on Luffy. He purposely lets Sabo get past him so he can go help Luffy, because from his point of view, it would be hypocritical of the Marines to clean up the mess that they literally endorsed to happen. The Marines couldn't be allowed to be the heroes here because they would literally sweep everything under the rug and take all the credit while not addressing the pain and suffering they were complicit in maintaining. Simply put, Fujitora is disgusted with how the government operates like it's a god, ruling over the people of the world with no care for their well-being, which again is hilarious because we later find out that's literally what's happening. And as we hit the climax, Luffy lands the final blow on Dofi, and the people of Dressrosa are safe from experiencing a complete genocide via the birdcage, and freed from the nightmare, the loyal citizens and allies of Dressrosa all call for King Riku to take his rightful place back onto the throne. And during all this, what does Fujitora do? He takes the entirety of the Marine forces on the island, gets on his hands and knees, and on the behalf of the entire Marine organization, begs for forgiveness for letting the people of Dressrosa suffer for so long. This, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated moments in the entire story because I think people forget that this was televised worldwide. There was no way for the government or the Marines to spin things to make them look more favorable. They have covered up plenty of stories that made them look bad in the past, such as the corruption that took place in Alabasta due to Crocodile's actions or the complete genocide of the people of Ohara. Fujitora refused to let the lie be told because again, it wouldn't be fixing the root problems of corruption or addressing the suffering that was occurring under their watch. As far as he's concerned, the reputation of the Marines being symbols of peace and justice can't actually be real if all you're doing is stabbing in the back the people you're supposed to protect and lie to the rest of the world to make yourselves look good and noble. Plenty of people hype up Smoker as being a Marine who doesn't comply with the corruption and bad orders that the higher ranks tried forcing on him, and without question, Smoker is a good Marine, but he literally says that if he was an admiral, he wouldn't have the balls to do what Fujitora just did. And the argument that occurs between Fujitora and Akainu was both amazing and hilarious, because from Fujitora's perspective, you can really boil the conversation down to just this.
I told you niggas to shut the fuck up.
She's standing up.
I told you niggas to shut the fuck up and get in the fucking booth.
Get in the booth.
Get off Twitter and get in the fucking booth. I don't want to see no more tweets on Elon Musk's internet.
Fujitora is just too honest and honorable to go along with the Akainu's plan of covering everything up in order for people to not lose trust in the Marines. He doesn't care who he defies or gets in the way of. He honors and helps those who are just with their actions, even if they're his enemies, such as in the case of Luffy, and will strike and retaliate at anyone who delves into injustice and corruption, even if they're his allies like Akainu. Like, what more can I say, man? Fujitora was just that guy on Dressrosa. So now let's move on to his actions at the Reverie, reaffirming why this man is the GOAT and why it's so impactful and hilarious in regards to the Marines. So when it comes to the Reverie, although it was overall short with what Oda showed the audience in regards to the world leaders, it doesn't change just how impactful it was and how Fujitora's actions invoked real change to the rest of the world. Fujitora literally got what he wanted. Him helping and exposing the government as well as the folly of the Marines led to the abolishment of the warlord system. It highlights how genuine change to make the world a better place is possible when you use your authority and power properly and when you're not so consumed with covering anything that doesn't favor your organization. But honestly, the glory and highlight of Fujitora at the Reverie was less about the abolishment of the warlords. Despite it being his actual goal, it was the actions he took when the Revolutionary Army attacked Mary Joa. Because obviously we gotta talk about how my GOAT Fujitora is one of the best backstabbers to ever do it. When it comes to fucking with the world government, he be putting up prime Jordan numbers. Green Bull's sorry ass is out here struggling to make sure he doesn't hurt a single celestial dragon in his fight with Morley. But Fujitora is out here prepared to drop a whole meteor on the area. Like, bro, you can't tell me that wasn't intentional. He knew exactly what he was doing here. Fujitora has one of the strongest anti-world government agendas in the story. That meteor would have taken out so many celestial dragons, it would have been an insane body count. But Fujitora doesn't stop trolling the government because it literally gets revealed that this man in broad daylight assisted the revolutionaries to free the slaves from the Holy Land. Like, seriously, this is in the top 3 most underrated things to happen in the story that not enough people talk about. Remember, just defying these guys is an automatic death sentence. This is bigger than Zoro trying to cut Charlos. This is even bigger than Luffy punching Charlos. We are talking about the attempted mass murder of dozens, if not hundreds, of celestial dragons. And in broad daylight, helps the Revolutionary Army, their mortal enemy, while they are invading the Holy Land. Fujitora did not give a single fuck. He stood 10 toes down and scrapped with Green Bull while protecting those slaves. Like, let's be so for real here. This goes well beyond a death sentence as far as the Celestial Dragons are concerned. I don't even know what you would call this. You'd have to invent a whole new form of punishment worse than death for what Fujitora did from the Celestial Dragons perspective. But what do these guys do? How exactly do they punish my glorious King Fujitora? The answer is they didn't do jack shit. My goat is sailing on his boat like he didn't just commit high treason, going about his day like business as usual. Like, do y'all understand how hard that is? Fujitora has only been a Marine for 2 years, and that fucker gets away with attempted murder of a bunch of celestial dragons. And it's so funny too, because what are you actually gonna do? Fire him?
Wrong answer, forehead.
Fujitora is the guy who is too good at what he does that the bosses can't afford to fire him. They literally do not want another Kuzan situation to happen. Imagine you're one of the Gurosei, and out of nowhere, you hear that one of the strongest people in the verse, someone who has the strength to lead the Marines as a fleet admiral, someone who you literally stated is the greatest power in the Navy, is now rolling with one of the most notorious pirates on the planet. Bro, I'd be so fucking sick to my stomach hearing some shit like that. Would Fujitora join a pirate crew if he got fired from the Marines? No, not at all. But I promise you, Monkey D. Dragon is hitting that man with the multi-million-dollar contract immediately. Not only did Fuji spare Dragon second in command, but he helped his people free slaves when it's literally Fujitora's job to kill or capture all the revolutionaries. And he did that while at Mary Joa in front of the Celestial Dragons. Nah, Dragon would snatch that man onto his roster in a heartbeat. He'd pull up himself too, just like how he pulled up to Vegapunk. There's no way the government can fire Fujitora. Imagine firing the guy who can casually drop 3 meteors from fucking space while eating a bowl of ramen noodles. I'm sorry, but he's just so cool, dude. Every positive aspect about the Marines is what Fujitora embodies. He's a man of honor. He cares for the safety of the weak and innocent. He does not care who you are, whether you're his enemy, his co-worker, or his boss. Fujitora will check you if you're on some bullshit. Literally, how can you speak bad on him? Like I said earlier, if you disrespect this man in front of me, I'm coming to your front door and we're gonna have a very aggressive conversation. He is without question the best Marine and Admiral in One Piece. No one comes close to this man's track record. I'm not trying to hear it. Like, show me a single Marine not named Fujitora who openly gives the middle finger to the world government and gets away with attempted murder of a bunch of celestial dragons. That's right, you can't, because it's just my glorious blind gambling addict. All I'm saying is, it's not too late. Buy Fujitora stocks today. I don't want to see y'all be fake and jump on the bandwagon when my king inevitably does some cool shit again and later in the story. Invest in the blind purple tiger. Literally, what is there to lose? And with all that being said though, thanks for watching the video and subscribe for more content in the future. I hope you have a great day and please stay safe. Peace.